Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today, what I'm going to do is take a look at two gold pens, and they're both pens from Pilot. They're opposite ends of the price spectrum for me, so my cheapest gold nibbed pen is the Pilot E95s. And that's going to go up against my current most expensive gold nibbed pen, which is the Pilot Custom 823. Two very different pens, same manufacturer. So join me now down on the table. We'll take a look at the pens, do some size comparisons, weights and measures, writing sample, then I'll give you my thoughts and some scores for these pens. Welcome down to the table. So here we've got today's pens, the Pilot E95s. This is in the beautiful burgundy, and they call it burgundy and champagne, but to me that's more of a silver colour than a champagne colour. And we're going up against the Pilot Custom 823. As I say, for me, both Pilot pens, opposite ends of the price spectrum for pens that I own. So this is coming in 195 Aussie dollars for the E95s, and that's going up 521 Aussie dollars for the Pilot Custom 823. Two pens really designed for two completely different use cases. The E95s, more of a pocket pen. The 823 more of that standard pen. So let's start by taking a walk through the bodies. Now, I will apologise, you may hear some wind in the background. It's very hot today here in Western Australia. It's currently 28 Celsius and 65% humidity. So it's very hot and sticky, so I've got my desk fan running. So apologies if that comes over. I will try and edit it out. We'll start by looking through the E95s. So the top of the cap is fairly flat. We then come down and we've got a gold coloured ring, and attached to that is the clip. Clip, gold coloured. Bottom of it there, we've got the word Pilot. I find this hard to come off. It's not very easy to access at all. I don't really use it, so it doesn't bother me too much. So the cap, it's tapering out, and it looks like quite a severe taper initially, and then by the time we get to the bottom of the clip, it straightens off. Got a very long cap on here. Near the bottom of the cap, we've got a gold coloured band there going all the way around. We've got an E, so E for Elite or E95s. It can be called either. And then at the back, we've got here Pilot Japan. From the cap, we've got a drop down. You can notice it if you're feeling for it. If you're not really feeling for it, it's not really that much of an issue. Down into the actual body. The body is very, very small. And here we're tapering down till we get to a flat bottom. The cap, it pulls off. So it pulls off to reveal a very, very long section. Look at that. One of the longest sections I've seen. This section is tapering down, and then we've got an inlaid 14 karat gold nib. On that nib, we've got 14K 585, Pilot, medium, Japan, and then below that we've got some numbers. That actually helps you work out which factory and when it was manufactured. Beautiful nib though. The body will come off. Here you'll see I've got a cartridge. It did come with a converter as well. It came with, I believe it's a Con 40. I found that very useless. When the body, with it being so deep, when you put the Con 40 in, most of the Con 40 converter is buried in the body, and all you can see is the actual mechanism for twisting it, so you can't see the ink levels. I don't find that very convenient at all. So what I do is I just use, again, this came with it. It came with the cartridge. I just empty the cartridge out, and then using a blunt nose syringe, I fill it with whatever ink that I want to use. Nice and easy. You know, it takes a few seconds. Unposted. This pen is teeny weeny, very thin feeling section. It's a pocket pen, you can't do much about that. But the beauty with this pen, let me just post it. Look at that. That's a standard, in fact, longer than some of my standard pens, I would say. Very nice to use. Beautiful pen to hold and write with. This posted length, just so spot on. So that's a Pilot E95s. The 823, very different looking pen, isn't it? This is more of a standard chip. I'm just going to close that valve up. So at the top, we've got the domed end. I think it might be dark amber, looks nearly black. Got a wide gold coloured ring. Attached to that is a clip. The clip is more of a standard pilot nib, so at the top we've got the word pilot. Come down, we've got the ball on the end. This one, again, very stiff, but you can actually get in there to use it. The cap is tapering out again till we get to near the bottom of the clip. Then we go straight. We've got a thin gold coloured band going all the way around it. Below that we've got this wider one. So there's 3 stars. Custom 823, 3 stars. Pilot, made in Japan. Then we're back to that first 3 stars. On here, not sure if it comes over on the camera. Let me see if I can get this lined up. The word custom and 823, that's more or less centered below the clip. Attention to detail there, isn't it? Below that band, we've got a little bit more of this beautiful brown resin. That's going down, tapering down, and then drops off into the body. There is a drop off to the body. Body, to my eye, seems the same width all the way down until we get to, I would say, let's call it 3/4 of the way down. Then we taper in slightly. Got another gold coloured band. Then we've got the actual filling mechanism. So I've pushed this down. This is a vacuum filling pen. I'm just going to slightly unscrew there. So again, let me fetch this up. Hopefully we can get this to focus. Near the bottom of the barrel, you can see there's a plunger there. It's right the way down at the bottom. As I release this, you should see that plunger coming up. That acts as a shut-off valve between the body and the section. If I wanted to fill it, I would slowly pull this out, which would pull the plunger all the way up to the top. When I want to fill it, just push it back in. What that does is as it's going down, it's a tight fit, so it's creating a vacuum. Gets down to about here, very close to the bottom. Inside widens, so as the plunger goes down, it releases the vacuum and that draws the ink in from the bottle. The cap, this takes half, 1, 1.5, about 1 3/4 turns to come off. Just about right. Maybe would have been nice if it was more like 1 1/4, but I'm not going to quibble about half a turn. The cap then reveals the section. Nice shape there, nice size to the section. And then we've got the Pilot number 15 size gold nib. This is another 14 karat gold nib. Bit more decorative than what we were seeing with the E95s. So we've got a decorative border. Below the breather hole, we've got Pilot 14K 585, number 15, which is for the size of the nib, and then broad because this is a broad nib. On the left hand side, down at the bottom, there are some little numbers, and there, that's again like we were with the other one, we can work out where it was made. Just pop the lid back on. I love both these pens. They're both there for different needs, and for each need, they are just the ideal pen. Let's swap on over and we'll do some size comparisons. My first 2 comparisons are my 2 standards. We've got the Pilot Metropolitan and the Lamy Safari. The E95s, obviously shorter. The 823, again, obviously longer. I've left this valve open on the 823 because that's how I tend to use it. Unless I'm going out of the house with a pen, I always leave the valve open when I'm at home. Let's take the caps off. I've taken the caps off. Now, what I've done is I've posted the E95s, so I'm showing the pens how I would normally use them. The other 3 I normally use unposted. So E95s, this is what I'm saying, longer than most of my other pens now. Very comfortable to use. It is slightly narrower than what we see in the section here with the 823, but I would say slightly wider than the Metropolitan, and I would guess, although the shapes are different, I would guess about the same width as what we see with the Safari. In the hand, beautiful fit, very, very nice, fits so well. With the Custom 823, again, in the hand, very nice fit. You can post it exceptionally well. You could get away with it. I don't, I just prefer to use it unposted. We'll swap on over and we'll look at a couple of pens in roughly the same price range. Here we've got the caps on. So as you can see, the three big pens there, the All-American, the 823 and the Kren, very similar lengthwise. I mean, yes, the 823 just slightly longer. It's the width where we see the difference. That E95s, doesn't it look small compared to the others? Let's swap on over and fetch in the rule of measuring. Here we've got the rule of measuring, starting with the E95s. So the total pen, that comes in at 11.8 centimetres. Unposted, that comes in at 10.5. And posted, there we're looking at 14.7. The width of the body, which is just here, 1.2 centimetres. The cap at its widest part, 1.27. The section I measured just here, that goes from 0.95 up to 1.15. So not the widest of pens. The 823. The total pen comes in at about 14.8 centimetres. Unposted, 13.1. Posted, about 16.3. The width of the body at its widest point, which is just about here, that comes in at 1.25 centimetres. The cap, 1.49 centimetres. And then the section goes from 1.06 up to 1.13. Not that much wider than the other one, but it feels a lot different. Let's get this out of the way and fetch in the scales of weighing. Here we've got the scales of weighing. We'll start with the E95s. So the total pen, 16 grams. Body alone, 10 grams, 6 grams for the cap. For the 823, total pen 30 grams, nearly twice the weight. Body alone, 20 grams, more than the entire pen from that E95s. The cap, 10 grams. Let's get this out of the way and fetch in the notepad of testing. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Here we've got the notepad of testing. This is an A4 notebook made by Ayush, which is an Indian manufacturer. 100 GSM paper, got a real nice texture to it. First pen, the E95s. So we've got here a Pilot E95, not 4. Gary can't write. E95s with a medium 14 karat gold nib. The price, 195 Aussie dollars. The ink, it's by Lamy, part of the Crystal series, and it's Topaz. Nice colour ink this. Drying times, so we got immediate, 10 seconds. Nearly dry there, isn't it? 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, that one's nice and dry. Let's look for any line variation. So here's no pressure. Here's with some pressure. So we can get a slightly wider line. Just be very careful you don't end up damaging the nib. So there's none, with, none, with, none, and with. Let's move the mic and write the sentence. Love writing with this, very nice nib. Flow. And then going the other way. This pen just keeps up, had no issues. I will be honest, I don't put shimmer ink in here or chameleon ink. I just put standard inks in here. So that's the Pilot E95s. Let's just move this up slightly. Let's look here at the Pilot Custom 823. So we've got a Pilot Custom 823 with a broad 14 karat gold nib. Do you know, I can never remember if it's CT or KT for carat, but it's gold anyway. A lot of money, 521 Aussie dollars. The ink by Dominant Industry. And it's a Lungo, nice dark brown ink. Plenty of shading come through with this though. Drying times, immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. That's dry there at 30 seconds. Remember, temperature, humidity, all effects. It's a very warm day today. Line variation, so no pressure. With some pressure, I'm getting a slightly wider line. Again, be careful, you don't want to damage this nib, especially at $521 to replace the pen. None, with, none, with, none, and with. Let's move the mic and do the sentence. I love writing with this pen, it's just so comfortable, and the nib got beautiful feedback on it. Flow. And then the other way. All in all, very nice. So what are my thoughts and my scores for these pens? We'll start with pen looks. In terms of pen looks, I just think the E95s looks unique. I don't know of many pens that look similar to this. Yes, I know it's small, it's a pocket pen, but for what it's designed for, it's very, very nice. The 823, this is what I always think of as like a standard shape for a fountain pen. Whenever I think of a fountain pen, I either think of this shape or I think of the Parker pens shapes. For pens looks though, I just think the E95s is stunning compared to the 823. Going to give the E95s 9 out of 10, the 823 8 out of 10. Build quality. They're both from Pilot. They are both high quality pens. I've had the 823 over 2 years. I've had the E95s over a year. Both of them are filled virtually all the time. Both of them, they're in use a lot of the time. Both of them write perfectly every time. The only thing I will say with the E95s, I don't use shimmer inks in here. And I've got to be honest, neither do I with the 823, purely because they're both very difficult to clean. You know, yes, with this one, with the 823, I can flush it easy, but I'm just worried about pulling out the nib and feed or something like that to clean if I've used a shimmer ink. So that's why I don't bother. I just keep with the standard. And with this inlaid nib, not sure how you'd be able to take that apart to clean it. So again, I just don't risk it. Build quality, going to give them both 8 out of 10. Writing experience. I do find that the E95s, although it's got a nice length, does feel thin. And, you know, it can make my hand feel a little bit cramping, especially around here and around here. Whereas with the 823, just a beautiful fit in my hand. Very, very nice. So comfortable to use. I can use this for hours and not get any cramp or anything like that. So for writing experience, 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for the 823. Ink flow. Had no issues with them. As I said, I only use standard inks. I do think this tends to be a little bit of a wet nib. Hard to really show at the moment, I say it's so warm, but certainly with Diamine Writer's Blood, it feels like it just gushes out. Very consistent flow with this, holds a load of ink, beautiful to write with. Just remember, open up that valve. Ink flow, 8 out of 10. Comfort. I'm judging the E95s against what it's designed for, a pocket pen. It's meant to be thin, that's part of the design. So I'm not really knocking it too much. I say, yes, I do think the section is a bit thin, but I say for what it's designed for, not a problem. Very nice to use. Even unposted, you could get away, and I do, the occasional word, but as soon as I'm done, I'll be writing a sentence. I just post it. On the 823, this is such a comfortable pen to use. Nice size, nice shape, nice weight. Section, although it's just a little bit wider than what we were seeing with the E95s, feels so much bigger. Very comfortable to use. So for comfort, I'm going to give them both 8 out of 10. Value for money, hard one this. They're both Pilot pens. They're both gold nib pens. $195 versus $521. You can't really compare them. Pocket pen, this is more like your standard, in your bag pen. Even a desk pen maybe. This one drops in my pockets, hardly know it's there. I pull it out right straight away. This one sits on my desk, sits in my pen case. I pull it out right straight away. Beautiful writing experience, very buttery. Beautiful feedback, absolutely gorgeous to write with. Value for money, I'd say they are two very different price points, but when you compare them against what they're designed for, I think they both deserve an 8 out of 10. So that means the total score for the Pilot E95s with Lamy Crystal Topaz is 8.17 out of 10, and for the Pilot Custom 823 with Dominant Industry Lungo is also 8.17 out of 10. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What are your thoughts on these pens? I know there's a number of other gold nib pens, I have got some. Which are your favourite Pilot pens? Why not drop a comment down below? Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.